Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's lesson is on dividing. I know there's a typo there and it says diving, but it's dividing a fraction by a whole number. So our goal is that we're not only going to divide fractions by whole numbers, but we're also going to create story problems to match. Creating story problems is going to help us be able to understand how to set up the problems correctly. Okay, we do have 3 vocab words. They're all review. The first one is a dividend. A dividend is what you are dividing. So often in story problems, it's also going to be what you are maybe splitting or cutting or sharing. We'll see all those different words in there. Okay, so if your number was 15 divided by 5 equals 3, our dividend is the 5 because this is what I'm dividing. Okay, my divisor would be, in that same equation, my divisor would be the 5. It's usually how many groups you're making or how many people you're giving it to. And then the final thing is my quotient. My quotient is my answer. So in the same equation, the quotient is going to be my 3. So it's going to be really important that you understand the 3 different division words. Okay, we don't really have any notes today, so we're on to our steps. Okay, our first step is you're going to want to write the expression. Most of the questions in this unit are going to be word problems. So you're really going to have to be able to pull out the expression from the word problem. Okay, then you're going to draw a model of what you're dividing, your dividend. So you're going to have to ask yourself, what do I have and that I'm going to divide up? Now, when you draw your model, we have normally been drawing models with shapes. So you're going to want to be familiar with both shapes. And remember, we've been using mostly rectangles. But you also want to be familiar with number lines. And the reason is we're going to see a lot of those on the test. So I'll show you how to do those as well. Okay. So once we draw our model, we're going to need to divide the model by the divisor. So it's going to be, I draw what I have and then I divide it. And then I'm going to pass or deal out each piece by labeling it. Okay? And then the final thing is I'm going to ask myself, does my answer make sense? So the hardest thing about this unit is going to be getting confused with how to write them. So it's going to be a pretty easy unit, but with that easiness, it's going to come at like kind of a trickiness. Okay, when we get all through all of our lessons, I'll show you what I mean by that. But you really want to stop and ask yourself, does this make sense? Okay, so let's see what this looks like. Okay. I'm going to be using a highlighter, so you might need to pause and get yourself a highlighter. Okay, so my first question says, Ralph had 1/2 of a chocolate bar. He gave it to his 3 friends to share equally. How much of the original chocolate bar will each friend get? Okay, so my first step says that I need to write the expression or the problem. So what do I have? So Ralph has 1/2 of a chocolate bar and he's going to divide it to his 3 friends. He doesn't have 3 friends that he's dividing in half. Okay, so my equation or my expression is going to be 1/2 of a chocolate bar divided to 3 friends. Okay. So then my next step says I'm going to draw a model of what I'm dividing. So I'm going to draw my dividend. So I have half. Okay, I'm going to show you the harder one, which is a number line. So if I have 1, a half is there. So here's my chocolate bar, but I only have this much of a chocolate bar. Okay, so this is how much of my chocolate bar I have, 1/2. Okay, my next step says I'm going to divide the model by the divisor. So my divisor is this number. So I'm going to take my half of my chocolate bar and I'm going to cut it up into 1, 2, 3 pieces, okay, for my 3 friends. Now, just like when we do the models, we can't just cut this up. We'd have to cut this part up too to make it match. So now I have, how many pieces did I cut this 1 into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So this whole chocolate bar was cut into 6 pieces. So this is 1/6 of a piece, and this is 1/6 of a piece, and this is 1/6. Okay? My next step says I'm going to divide the model by, I'm going to pass or deal out each piece by labeling it. So now I broke the half of the chocolate bar or divided it into 3. So friend 1's going to get this piece, friend 2 gets that piece, and friend 3 gets that piece. Okay, so what I'm seeing is each friend is going to get 1/6 of the whole chocolate bar. So my last step says, ask myself, does that make sense? Would that make sense? If I started with only half of a chocolate bar, would it make sense that each one's going to end up with 1/6? And I would say yes. Okay, so this would be the number line method. I'm going to show you the other method, which I feel like is a lot quicker. So I'm going to actually do the same problem again, just in a little bit of a different way. So my problem is 1/2 divided by 3. Okay, so I already wrote my expression. Now I'm going to draw a model, but this time I'm going to use shapes instead of the number line. So I'm going to draw 1/2. So here's my chocolate bar, and I have half of it. Okay, now it says I'm going to divide the model by my divisor. So I'm going to take this half of the chocolate bar and I'm going to cut it up so I can cut it up into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3, because it said divide into 3 pieces. Then I'm going to pass out or deal out to each person by labeling it. So friend 1 can get that piece, friend 2, and friend 3. So think of kind of like a chocolate bar, those Hershey bars. Okay, so what I'm seeing is each friend is getting 1 piece, and each piece is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th of the chocolate bar. And we already talked about that does make sense. Okay, so if you had a guess, which one would you, or guess which one I like this method. Seems a lot quicker and easier to me. Unfortunately, on your test, you're going to have many problems that require you to understand this method too. So even though this might be your favorite or a quicker method, we need to understand both. Okay, let's try another one. I'm actually going to skip this one because I'm noticing how long our video already is and I want to move on to something else. Okay, part of the other problem is going to be that you are going to be required to be able to write word problems. So if I give you just the expression, you need to not only solve it, but write a word problem that goes with this. So if this is what I have, because remember, my dividend is what I have that I'm dividing. So I have 1/3 of something. So what could I have 1/3 of? Let's think. What if I have 1/3 a bottle of syrup. if I want to make, because now I'm going to take my third of bottle and I'm going to divide it into 4. So if I want to make 4 snow cones, how much syrup can they each get? So notice my story says I have a third of something and I'm going to be dividing it into 4. So this time I'm dividing it into 4 snow cones. Okay, so this would be my word problem. Now I could use my steps to solve it. So I already have my expression. I'm going to draw my model. So I'm going to do the trickier one first, my number line. So I have a third. So let's cut my 1 into 1, 2, 3 pieces. And this is how much of the snow cone syrup bottle I have. Okay. Now I'm going to divide that into 4 pieces. So for my 4 snow cones, right? So I could say cone 1, cone 2, cone 3, and cone 4 gets that little piece. Okay. So how much of the bottle did they each get? Because I need to go through and cut all of them up into 4. So how much was the one bottle cut into? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this section has 1, 2, 3, 4. And that section has 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks to me that I now divided the bottle into 12s. And each cone or snow cone is going to get 1. Okay, let's try it with our other method. So here is my syrup bottle, and I have 1/3 of it. And I'm going to divide that 1/3 into 4ths. And then I'm going to label them. So cone 1 gets that, cone 2, cone 3, and cone 4. So each snow cone is going to get 1 part, and each part of the is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting 12 again, so 1/12 of the bottle. Okay, let's try some together. All right, ready? Here is my first problem. Jordan has 1/3 of a pound of pom-poms to decorate 6 posters with an equal amount of pom-poms. If the posters are equal in size, how many pounds of pom-poms can she use on each page? So am I dividing the 1/3 pound of pom-poms onto my 6 posters, or am I dividing my 6 posters onto my 1/3 pound of pom-poms? Hopefully you see that we're dividing 1/3 a pound of pom-poms onto our 6 posters. Okay, so let's try the trickier one first. So I'm going to have 1/3 a pound of pom-poms. So I don't have 1 whole pound. I only have 1/3 of that. So I have to cut it into 1, 2, 3 pieces, and I only have 1 of them. Okay. Now I'm going to take what I have and divide it into 6 pieces. Okay, but if I divided that section into 6, I actually have to divide these into 6 as well. Okay, my next step says I'm going to label them. So I could say like maybe poster 1, poster 2 gets those, poster 3, poster 4, poster 5, and poster 6. Okay, so it looks like each poster is going to get 1 piece out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And notice I don't count the lines, I count the sections. Okay, let's try this using our model. So if I had 1/3 a bag of pom-poms, I'm sorry, 1/3 a pound. Here's my 1/3 a pound, and I'm going to divide it for my 6 posters. So poster 1 gets those, poster 2, poster 3, poster 4, and poster 5, and poster 6. So again, each poster got 1 piece out of 18. Okay, because we're running late on time, I'm gonna skip this one. You could try this one on your own later if you'd like it. Okay, number 3, let's turn that into a division sign. Okay, so this one I actually have to come up with something and write a story problem. So I have to come up with something where I have a fifth of something. So I could use other problems around me to use. I might kind of use this one to help me, and you could even do that on a test. You could use other story problems to help you. So this one I might say, I have 1/5 pounds of hay. Okay, I need to feed my 3 horses. Because I need to take my 1/5 a pound of hay and divide it into 3. So I'm going to divide it in my 3 horses. How much hay will they each get? Question mark. Okay, so let's see. If I have 1/5 of a pound, I'm going to do my area model for this one. I have 1/5 of a pound of hay. So 1 out of 5. And let's divide it for my horses. So this could be horse 1, horse 2, and horse 3. So each horse is going to get 1 out of 15. Okay, I don't have room to do my number line, so I'm going to skip that part. Okay, so again, I kind of used this story to help me because this story was talking about feeding 4 pigs with 1/2 pound, and that's okay. You could use other stories to help you. Okay, tonight you do have for homework 1, 2, and then this one needs to have a division sign. So you do have 3 problems. I strongly suggest on one of these you try the number line. So I'm going to put over here on 1, I want you to try the number line method. And on 1, you could try the regular area model with rectangles. But we want to get used to this one because there will be 3 of them on the test. Okay. All right. When you are done, make sure you rate your understanding. All right. Have a nice night, ladies and gentlemen.